schizophrenic homeless man who was beaten to death on July 5th by Fullerton police officers. Also there was the attorney for the family, Garo Mardirossian, who, by the way, we will talk to. You'll hear him on the John and Ken Show in the next segment this hour. But let's, why they did this, if you listen to our show yesterday, Ron Thomas and the Thomas family is tired of waiting for the Orange County DA to make a ruling as to whether or not he's going to charge these officers.
They've had it, and they should be disgusted, because, believe me, this is not that complicated. It's 2 months. It's 100 witnesses they already interviewed. It's 25 investigators. They got the crime on videotape. He's been dead since July the 10th. This is absurd. All right? Tony Rackauckus is afraid to prosecute these cops. He's afraid. So he's dancing behind all kinds of legalities, saying, well, we don't have the cause of death. Well, the cause of death was signed by doctors at UC Irvine on July 10th. Why the coroner can't figure it out here on September 7th is absurd.
And among their findings, toxicology results to say there was no drugs or alcohol in Kelly Thomas's system. That's what was their finding at UC Irvine.
So that was the other dodge. Well, we want the toxicology report. Well, seriously, it doesn't take that long to test blood for drugs. And besides all that, in every other case where there's a murder, if they find the suspect, they arrest the suspect, and the rest of the investigation is ongoing.
You're correct. You don't wait until they get a full autopsy report from the coroner.
You don't need the whole case to go before a judge to get him to approve the charges and get a suspect arraigned.
If you walk into an apartment and find a guy lying in a pool of blood with a bullet right through the center of his heart, you know he was shot, and then when you find the suspects, John's right, you do charge them. Now, in this case, it's been clear from the beginning that Kelly Thomas died as a result of this beating. But they're trying to say in Orange County with the DA's office and maybe the coroner's office too is, wait. We're going to do the test and redo the test to make sure there's no other cause of death.
It's stupid.
And the Thomas family is saying enough already. That's why they held this event. What they have were the medical records.
We have them here in front of us.
John does, right?
We have the photos from the radiology where they were able to show just how badly smashed the bones in his face were.
All right, we're going to play for you first a clip from the news conference that Steve Gregory got for us, and this is the attorney, Garo Mardirossian, talking about how Kelly died.
Kelly Thomas died because of blunt head trauma. That blunt head trauma caused multiple fractures of bones in and around his face. Those bones, as they broke, right above the nose, the zygomatic process, or the bone that goes from the cheekbone to the skull, but the bone inside the nose, the ethmoid plate, was also broken. Now, these just don't break easily. They take a tremendous amount of pounding. Witnesses have described that one of the officers grabbed the taser, an X-26 taser, and held it sort of like a pistol, and pistol whipped him repeatedly by pounding him on his head. And as he did that, as that officer did that, he caused serious injury and eventual brain death. Now, the broken bones in and around his face caused a tremendous amount of bleeding inside his mouth, inside his nasal cavities. All that blood went down into his lungs. And the medical evidence will show that all that blood is what he ended up choking on, his own blood. He had respiratory distress.
That's just tough to take. That's tough to hear. Garo Mardirossian also talks about rumors that Kelly had drugs in his system.
Some people ask, well, what kind of drugs did he have? Or was he drunk? He was homeless. Maybe he was out in the streets. And the answer is they did a complete study. He had no alcohol in his system. He had no drugs in his system. He was as sober as all of us. And yet, they beat him to death.
Of course, he was schizophrenic. We know that. Yeah, that was why he was homeless. That's why he was troubled.
Even if he had some drugs or alcohol in his system, so what? That doesn't change the viciousness of what
but they're trying to make the point there that what's with the toxicology results? This was nothing else. These
are legal dodges. Rackauckus is fearful of something. It's clear. He's absolutely terrified.
Well, speaking of Rackauckas, here's Garo talking about the fact that the Orange County DA still hasn't put out the arrests.
We don't need any more delay. We don't need the DA's office or any other prosecutorial agency to tell us we have to wait to find out what the cause of death is because we don't know why Kelly died. It's as obvious as the noses on our faces. We know exactly why he died. He died because of an assault. The point is that whether it's the taser to the chest or it's the beating of the face repeatedly over an extended period of time, those are not intent. I don't know what is. An intent to kill.
We have the report of death from the University of California Irvine healthcare system right in front of us here. And it says here, death was caused by brain death. That's the immediate cause. Due to head trauma. Due to assault. The brain death happened on July the 10th, the assault on July the 5th. Signed by all the doctors, all the other boxes are checked. The form is filled out completely. So the report of the cause of death was filled out on July 10th, the day he died. All the doctors who were on this case at UC Irvine had the cause of death down on July the 10th.
We also have photos taken from the medical records, like the x-rays of Kelly Thomas. As you know, that sad, horrible picture of Kelly Thomas in the hospital bed with his face so badly bruised and beaten. You can see in these x-ray photos the evidence of what it did to him.
This is what's aggravating about the reporters who call up Tony Rackauckas, and the spokesperson says, well, we're still waiting on the cause of death from the coroner.
Okay.
Well, okay. I'll reprint that in the newspaper article tomorrow to tell my readers that the reason we haven't filed charges, you haven't filed charges, is because we don't have the cause of death.
It was an altercation, so it's a mystery.
You got a UCI cause of death report sitting on somebody's desk for 2 months.
All right. When we come back, we had a chance to interview the attorney who basically ran this news conference today. We're going to play for you our interview with Garo Mardirossian coming up next.
John and Ken Show, KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.